Bryce here. So I want to talk today in this live stream really about how one of our mentorship students was able to go and get 5 clients over the last like 2 weeks. And she's been in the program for a few months right now. So this is not the only client she's got. It's just like the most recent like update from her. So I want to kind of like jump into this thing. And there's always kind of this awkward period of like, do I know if I'm live or do I not know if I'm live? Because the platforms kind of take a couple seconds. If I'm live, please like type in the chat like live down below, like Live, so I know I'm live and I'm not just like kind of talking to myself, because it can get a little bit confusing right there. So I start seeing some lives inside of the chat, so I'm gonna kind of like proceed forward as if I'm live. Hopefully I won't have to go back, but also now during this kind of stream, while we're going through it, I'm sharing the different things that the students learning. These videos are free. So one way that I like help that I kind of get paid for these is if you can share with more people, so that you're sharing the knowledge, the group keeps growing, because the more people that watch your videos, the more that like Facebook and the different platforms are going to show it to more people. So when we ask you to do a bunch of different codes, a bunch of different hashtags, I'm already boosting engagements to show it to way more people. So number one, right? Hashtag team live. If you're on this thing live with me, so I can make it more interactive, right? Hashtag team replay. If you're actually watching the replay, I can send you like a different kind of care package as well, and I can have like some goodies for you as well. Then also, if you want for me to reach out to you with answering some questions, like maybe you had a question, but I just wasn't able to either see your question while I was live, or maybe you just didn't get it fully answered, I can reach out to you, but write down hashtag connect. I'll be sure to reach out to you to answer some questions you might have about growing your business. And finally, if you want to see if I can help you grow your business without having to make the mistakes that cause most people to fail in their business, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if we can help you inside of our program. Now, let's jump into this thing. So who am I? So for me, it took me a pretty good amount of time to grow my accounting and bookkeeping business. It took me in total about 16 months. It's about 16 grand per month in sales for bookkeeping and CFO services. Now, a lot of people might say like, they were an overnight success. For me, it was totally the opposite, right? Because I was very bad, number one, at understanding how to price out my services. So when I was getting started, I thought, my goals are pretty low. I thought that, if I just got like 100 people pay me like, $400 a month, I'd make it to 4 grand a month, and I would be good. I wouldn't be like, magically, I wouldn't be like, super rich or anything like that, but it would be good enough for me to be able to like keep putting my head down and keep going. Now, that was incredibly, incredibly difficult in practice. So I'd be going to like different like either I went to, for example, like a door hinge person, or like a jewelry store, or I'd be going to like coffee shops. Just I would just be walking into the place with like a stack of flyers, and I'd literally be like, hey, this is me, this is my business card, can I please maybe see if I can help you through accounting or bookkeeping? And I would just keep doing that. And like it'd either be like you'd never speak to the owner, or you speak to the owner and like they just weren't interested, or they tell you to like come back another day, and just keep telling you to come back and come back and come back. Then when you finally get to the price, like, oh, it's way too much money. And it just kept happening over and over and over again. And that kind of led me down to a journey of, number one, I had to go back to my job because I was just running out of money, if I'm being completely honest with you. So what I did was, anytime that I'd be like, getting money from my job that didn't go towards my bills, I'd be like saving into my fund that I basically used to start investing like in courses, masterminds, coaching programs, mentorships, private consults, just anything I can get my hands onto in order to get all the skills I needed in order to start growing like a 6-figure business. So by the end of the first, like probably about 3 months into going back into work, I had spent about it was close to 35K on like courses and all the different things that it took in order for me to like learn how to start getting that traction inside that business. Now, I make these videos for free, and we do have like our private mentorship program, so you don't have to pay 35K like I did in order to learn these same skill sets. So make the best use of this thing. If you're ready for me to jump into what the student actually did, go ahead and write down a 0 inside the comments below. So number one, the first thing that most people struggle with, and I'm kind of looking at my notes I wrote on my remarkable, most people struggle with, number one, the confidence in themselves and the ability to be able to trust that no matter what their level of experience is, they can do the work. So a lot of people come and they're like, I just don't feel very confident, or I just don't know if I can do the work. And it's very interesting when you see like the different people that do that. Like some people think that just because they don't have any experience like in corporate America doing accounting or bookkeeping, they're the only ones struggling with this lack of confidence. I see directors of finance coming to me with the same like, the same like lack of confidence in their skill. Like, what if I make a mistake? What if I don't do this thing right? What if I like make one mistake and mess up the entire books? They get audited and then they get in trouble. Like, what it all kind of falls on me. And it's very interesting, right? So the one thing we always do is we always talk about like writing down the correct affirmations, and then we also talk about going to like the worst case scenario. So number one, when I say like affirmations, you need to actually write the opposite of whatever you're kind of like thinking that you're afraid of. Now, if you don't know how to do this, we actually have like a long video on YouTube that kind of breaks down sequential detail how to make these for yourselves and how to make sure you can start getting more and more confidence. And you can actually go and watch that. Go ahead and write down affirmations out of the comments. I can actually send you that video, and then I'll actually just give it to you because I don't know if we can go into extreme detail on this call on this like video, because Facebook and like Instagram generally like you to keep your videos up to about like 15 to like 17 minutes max before it starts like dropping the amount of people who can actually see like the video. It's just an algorithm kind of thing. So number one is to go inside of affirmations. Number two is your skill sets. Now, if you need help actually going and developing the skill set of accounting and bookkeeping, or if you would like an evaluation to see how close are you to being able to successfully take care of someone's books, we actually help you inside the program doing that. Now, a big misconception we have is that people think that my mentorship program is only about like marketing and sales, which, I mean, that's 90% of what most people need in order to actually hit six figures. But if you're still trying to learn the accounting, learn the bookkeeping, we do have different options for you to make sure that you feel very comfortable and actually doing and taking on the work. Because there's no point in you going out to get clients if you can't actually do the work, right? So we wanted to help you out, and we wanted to really like have that aspect as well. Now, the next thing when it comes to confidence is really value. So value and confidence kind of come into like this weird kind of like gray area where there's a point to where you're confident in your skills, but you don't understand how to communicate the value of what you're doing, and people don't really want to pay you in accordance to your skill set and to your confidence level. What happens is kind of like I was talking about earlier, like I would try and go after the clients for like $400 a month or $450 a month, but since I did not really understand, number one, how to have confidence in the way I was presenting myself, and number two, I did not really understand how to communicate value, I had a very, very, very rough time getting people to actually want to pay me. And it led to a lot of no's. I need to think about it. Let me go talk to my board. Let me go talk to my dog. Let me think about it for 20 years. Like it just did not really convert. Now, in the simplest version, in the simplest form that I can kind of explain value, at least in this industry, is value comes down to your ability to connect the dots of your service to their goals. Now, oftentimes what happens is most people, and this took me actually a long time to understand. I actually learned this in one of the businesses I tried back in the past. I used to do like a lot of e-commerce, and like I was doing okay sales wise, but I didn't use any of the accounting that I was doing like in my job for the business. I just didn't put two and two together because I was like, okay, all I want to do is make more money, make more money, make more money. And my current business partner on the accounting side, she basically came to me and was like, why are you not doing any accounting with this? And I just couldn't really put together like why it was important. It's like my business is too small to need accounting, right? It's just like I'm just trying to get to, six figures a year in my e-commerce business. I don't really need that. It's not that important. I'm making money. Money's coming to the bank account. But it wasn't until we really started thinking about it and really started converting the word admin to operations, that's when things really clicked for me, and that's when I started like really being able to start communicating the value of accounting and bookkeeping, right? Because a lot of business owners, they don't necessarily care that much about like having an admin. They care more about like being able to move the boat faster, get more sales, get more revenue, get more profit, take home more, pay less in taxes, right? So you have to really start pairing your service mixed with what do they actually want to get as a result of your service. No one cares about like, why you need a bookkeeper, right? No one cares about that. And when I say no one cares, like there is, of course, someone to do. There's always an exception to the rule. But if you go to probably about 100 business owners, they're doing anywhere between about 100K per year to about 750K per year. If you said that they're going to need a bookkeeper and they're going to pay you, $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month, and you just say it's just because you need a bookkeeper, they're probably going to, number one, like if they're rude, they're probably going to laugh at you. It happened to me a lot. Or they're probably going to say, let me think about it, right? And it's just because you're not really communicating the value. Versus when you learn how to communicate that value, it's almost like there's like a light bulb moment that kind of comes into their eyes when it's like they understand why they should be paying you the amount of money that you're asking for versus maybe going with someone who's a lot cheaper up the street. Because no matter what industry you're in, what location, what niche you're targeting, there's always another bookkeeper that's quoted the potential client something lower. And if you don't know how to really communicate how you're different, how you're better, why the person needs you, why the person needs to pay the higher price point, why it's actually going to be in their best interest to pay a higher price point versus paying a lower price point to someone they're not going to respect, they're not going to care about, they're not going to follow through the advice the person gives them. When you know how to really like communicate that stuff, it's just totally different. It's totally different. It's literally kind of like it's almost like the whole conversation, they're gonna be nodding and smiling, and they're actually gonna mean it. One thing that most people struggle with is like when they're kind of conveying their service, a lot of business will be like, "Yep, uh-huh, uh-huh," and they'll be nodding their heads, and they'll be kind of like saying stuff, but it's almost like they're speeding you up, and they're not really listening and internalizing what you're saying. It's almost like they're acting like they're kind of doing you a favor on the call, and when you're able to really like turn that around, slow it down, communicate the stuff they actually want, there's like a slight smile that kind of comes on their face, and they kind of lean in. And it's like they're focused. It's more of a two-way conversation than just a one-way you just spewing information at them, right? And when you start getting that two-way communication where they're telling you what's important to them, then you're connecting how by working with you, it's going to actually help them get to their goals a lot faster. It's just so much easier for that, relationship to blossom and for them to actually want to pay you the amount of money that you're asking for. See, the challenge with charging a higher price point is not that you're ripping people off. That's not what you're doing, right? I mean, that's not going to help anybody. No one wants to feel like they're getting ripped off. What instead you're doing is you're really communicating how by paying you, let's say $1,000, they're going to be getting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 worth of output as a result every single time they pay you $10,000, right? They're looking at it from like a multiple, right? So most people, the higher they get off in business, the more they're kind of thinking about how can I multiply money? How can I multiply money? How can I take $1 and turn it into two, or turn it into three, or turn it into five, or turn it into 20? Right. So if you don't know how to really tap into that kind of zone and tap into that understanding, the business owners are always seeing like, okay, it's just admin stuff. They always just say like, you're just an admin, you're just a bookkeeper, you're just a bookkeeper, you're just an admin. If they're saying that phrase to you, it means they don't really understand what the value is, right? You're never going to hear that from someone that's going to pay you $1,500 a month, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month. They're never just going to call you just the bookkeeper, just the accountant, just the CFO. No, it's a lot more respect. Okay. Now, switching over, right? So let's say you have the value, and if you don't know how to price out your services even to begin with, to even know like what to say or what to charge them, like we give you like pricing calculators inside of our program. Now, in addition to doing like the pricing calculators, we actually show you how to communicate that value in a very kind of like easy to understand way that can be customized based on the person you're speaking to. Because at the end of the day, like I can give you a pricing calculator, but it doesn't matter if the pricing calculator says it's $1 million per month. If you don't know how to communicate that value and get them to fully understand like why they should be paying you that amount of money, it doesn't really matter. So it's a mixture of the pricing calculators, but also the strategy of how to implement those prices and communicate the value so people actually want to work with you and actually are happy and proud to tell their friends that they actually work with an accountant, a bookkeeper like yourself. Okay, so now let's move into marketing. Okay, so once you've kind of established like your value and you're really good at getting people to want to say yes, right? Because for this student, she got really good at really packaging that value, and that didn't take very long, right? So she basically was able to like triple her prices. So let's say that she was working with this one client, like paying her like $200 a month. She had another client, I think, was paying her like $300 a month. So she was just getting started in her business. She didn't have like a huge amount of like business experience or whatnot, but it was really once she learned how to package it that she started being able to charge like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 per month. And then she started being able to increase those old clients that she actually had undercharged by just learning how to really communicate that value and just be a much more effective person. But then to start getting marketing, there's two main ways we like doing marketing. So number one is actually having what's called a direct channel. Okay, so I call it directly going to the clients, right? It's when you use a social media platform or use some sort of like conversion event or conversion location to then talk to the clients. This could be like LinkedIn, it could be a networking event, it could be a phone call, it can be Upwork, doesn't really matter. I prefer to use platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and then we have like a tertiary one that we kind of talk about inside the program. But those are like the big two that most people understand and can just like really identify with. So the challenge when it comes to directly going after clients is, number one, you have to make sure, like we talked about before, you understand value communication. But number two, you also have to be good at really developing relationships via conversation. So a couple different ways you can do that. Number one is like more of the direct approach. Now, a lot of people try and do the direct approach when they're first getting started. The direct approach really doesn't work. When I say direct approach, it's like, hey, I'm Bryce, buy my stuff. Hey, I'm Bryce, buy my stuff. And you just like spam it out to like thousands of people. That is very, very tough because you're burning a lot of bridges. People feel like they're being talked at, not spoken to, and they don't feel like there's that relationship. Now, if you're selling something like, like insurance, if you're selling something like, just like very, very transactional where they don't really need to know that much about you, they just need to be able to like really understand the product, that works. But with accounting and bookkeeping, there's an element of trust that if they don't have that, it makes it very hard. And then even if you do get someone to get on the phone with you from like that initial like just direct blast, they're generally treating you more of like they're ordering off a menu rather than talking to a person who has like what they need and like can help them get to that next level in the business. It's very like transactional. It's just like kind of feel like they're talking at you. They don't really respect the stuff you say. They don't want to pay the price you're asking for. And it's very like yes or no. Versus when you learn how to build relationships inside like the messenger, like I can give you scripts for days, like to know exactly what to say, but it's more about learning how to fill in the gaps of like in between the scripts. So like what to do if they say A, or what to do if they say B, how to really handle if they give you like an obstacle. They have like a false belief around like maybe they don't need your service, maybe they're too small, maybe they're too big, maybe they're not ready, maybe it's not the right time of year. If you Once you understand how to do those and understand those scenarios and how to restructure the way that someone's kind of thinking about you, your service, and the prices you're charging, it does make it a lot easier, right? And we have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel that break down how to go and do this. So you can go and watch the YouTube channel if you want to learn how to do this in further details. Like we have like different videos breaking down scripts, breaking down objection handling inside of like Messenger, breaking down objection handling on LinkedIn, et cetera, so you can make sure you can get past this so you don't have to feel like you're kind of like constrained by the amount of people you're going after. Next thing is going and really understanding like partnerships. Now, I love partnerships. In this particular case, the student actually had the 5 clients from the partnerships. So a lot of her other clients come from more of like the direct clients. Actually, she had 2 more from partnerships. So the 5 were like in like the last like week and a half. The 2 prior that she got, in addition to like the 1 or 2 that she got like directly going after, the 2 of them actually came from a partnership as well. So it's one of those things where it's like it pays you now and it pays you forever. Okay. So in her particular case, some of the partnerships she developed, so let's say that she developed 10 partnerships. 2 of them gave her clients very, very quickly, right? I know between like $1,000 a month, $750 a month, $2,000 a month. But then there was a certain set of partners, like the next like 8 partners, who didn't necessarily give her anything right away. And it kind of felt for us, it's planned, right? Because we tell you like this is kind of what you should be expecting for every number of partnerships. Like you should have like this many partner referrals come within 1 month, this many partnership referrals come within 3 months, this many come within 6 months, 12 months, etc. So you always make sure that you understand like exactly what to expect, so you don't feel like you're caught off guard, and you never feel like you're kind of unsure of what's happening. So there's a certain percentage of people, especially partners, who have clients at their disposal right now. So when you go and build a relationship, they can send those clients to you. But there's also a set of partners that are going to be more sending you referrals around certain key times of year. So like in this case, like right now it's like October. So October when I'm like recording this. And what that means is that people are starting to look into like end of year, like getting ready for their tax, right? So their CPAs might be talking about like, hey, you need to be going and getting these write-offs before the end of the year. Cleanup seasons is in effect as well, right? People are looking to get their books cleaned up to begin getting ready for the beginning of the year, right? So a lot of your referrals are going to come from this time period. So if you've built up your referral partnerships before early in the year, you're going to get a certain amount that are coming to you right then, but then you start getting this like kind of like snowball effect as the year goes on, because more and more people are coming to them and they're looking for an account, they're looking for a bookkeeper who can do like, high ticket bookkeeping, right? So it just makes it easier and easier and easier and easier. And we basically show you like, where to go, what to say, how to identify which partners be the best for you, what's the timing when to get the partnerships, how to do the partnership call, how to close the clients that come from the partnership, just making it very, very easy for yourself to do that. And it just grows exponentially over time, right? Because a lot of people, they just want to go directly up to the clients. And that's cool. I understand where that's coming from. I did when I first got started. But it's like the older that I get in business, the more I understand. It's like if you have really, really high quality partners, you don't need to do that much marketing. All you need to do is just get like 1 to 3 partnership meetings every single week. And then you're going to have a certain number of clients. Then what you do is you take the average number of partnerships meetings. What is this average? It's clients per meeting. So you take the number of clients you get on average from partners divided by the total number of meetings you get, and you can actually develop a KPI. So you can know, okay, so I have to get this many meetings if I want to get this many clients by the end of the year. And it's becomes very, very predictable. And then you can start doing your marketing in terms of how to get that multiple up as high as you can. So you can ultimately control your ability to be able to get clients, the number, the amount, the size of the clients. The size of the clients is the one that's a little bit variable because it is referral based. So you might get like someone referred to a really big client or really small clients. We kind of safeguard that and like really make sure that it's more stable by helping you give something to your partners that kind of say what is your target market, like who's a good fit versus who's like a bad fit, like who should they not really send to you. So it makes it a lot more consistent when you do get like the leads coming to you, that you're not getting like the wrong size kind of client. So and if you want to learn more about like the partnership method, like we have again tons of videos on our YouTube channel. Like these like free trainings are more just a way to kind of like point you in the right direction of like our extended content library. Like on YouTube, I have like 400 videos that show you how to like grow and grow your business. Now, I don't mean you have to watch 400 videos. I'm just saying there's a lot of free content that can help you go and grow it. Now, also for people who want to go and skip all that, trial and error, learning and watching videos, and they just want to go and get the fastest path possible, we have our mentorship program. Now, inside the mentorship program, we do give you the fastest path to success and making sure you know exactly what you need to do in order to avoid a lot of the mistakes that most people, including myself, made when starting and growing their accounting and bookkeeping business. Now, if you want to go and skip all the trial and error, you want to go get basically to the front of the line, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself or a member of my team to see if we can help you inside of our program. Now, we cannot help everyone. We have a very strict limit on like how many new students we take inside of our program every single month. A couple of reasons why we do that. Number one is because I never really wanted to have like this giant mass market kind of course where there's like hundreds of people on like group calls and you never feel like you know the person who you're working with, right? I wanted to keep it very small, very intimate, and very like, you know, very, very result oriented, right? Where I know exactly what's going on. I know, like, when your kids get sick. I know when, maybe your dog starts throwing up. Like our dog started just throwing up like 6 times last night. Like it was crazy. Just like every couple hours, just started throwing up, just throwing up, and it was like crazy. But that happens in life, right? But if I don't know your name, I don't know what your situation is, I don't have your phone number, right? It's just very hard for me to get that personalized kind of feel that allows us to be able to go and get such like consistent results for our students. So if you want that kind of really, really nice hand holding, you want to be able to be in a place where everyone wants you to win and you're around people that have everything you need to go and get there, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video. Book a call with myself or member of my team to see if you qualify and you'd be a good fit for our help. Okay, talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day.